Hello, my name is Ori Young. I'm the Operations Officer at B. Young Essential Oils. Today what we're going to be talking about is how to close out your month in the Infinity Bonus and how the Infinity Bonus calculates per se. So this can help you to figure out what you need to do to try to pull a rank or exactly where you're at within the Infinity Bonus. So the first thing that we want to talk about with the Infinity Bonus, something that's very important to remember, is that the Infinity Bonus is based off of your personal efforts. This is based off of your personally sponsored people and the people that they have personally sponsored, and so forth and so forth and so forth to infinity. That's why it's called the Infinity Bonus, is it can go as wide and as deep as your personally sponsored organization can go. So for instance, to point this out, here we have you up here, and you've personally sponsored these people that's directly below you. Well, these people that you've personally sponsored have also gone out and sponsored people. And as you can see, there's a group of people here. And if we were to extend this graph down, what you'd see is you'd see right below here another bubble with a group of people, and so forth and so forth and so forth, all the way down. And that would be from the people that these people have sponsored, and the people that these people have sponsored, and the people that these other people, if we had the graph extended, had sponsored. So really, this can go as deep and as wide as you can make it, and you will never not have the opportunity to collect off of your personal efforts. So this is very reassuring, considering that the matrix is a 3x5 matrix, and so you can only collect within that 3x5 area. So if you have people on your 6th or 7th or 8th level that you've personally sponsored or that you've worked with, in the matrix you can't collect. And if we only offered the matrix, then that would mean that you would miss out on an opportunity to collect on the people that you had worked with and had tried to get involved with the compensation plan so that you could collect some type of compensation. In the Infinity Bonus, this is where the people that you have worked with and that you have tried to get involved with the compensation plan, they all come up to you no matter where they're at in the matrix, no matter if they're at the 15th or the 20th or the 100th level in the matrix. They're going to come up to you and you're going to be able to collect off of them and be able to make a percentage on that. So let's talk exactly how does the Infinity Bonus work. Now let me remind you, the Infinity Bonus calculates, it doesn't necessarily go through and look at each one, it's just going to look at them and calculate it as a whole. That's how the computer works. But in our minds it doesn't quite work that way. So I'm going to kind of go through the process on what it's doing and what it's looking for to kind of help you understand how you can do that. So in this case, in this graph, it's showing that you are a Ruby, and you have 11,150 GVQ, which is coming from PV of the people that you have personally sponsored. So where exactly does GVQ come from, and what is GVQ? GVQ means Group Volume Qualifying, or Qualifying Group Volume. So that's the qualifying group volume from the people that you've personally sponsored that will go into consideration on what amount of volume you have to qualify you as a gem rank. That's the only thing that GVQ is looking to do, is see how much you are qualified for and what gem rank that falls underneath. So let's take a look over here on the left hand side. We have an amethyst. We see the gem rank of an amethyst. There's two rules to an amethyst, and there's two rules for any of these gem ranks. First thing is what the GVQ qualification is. So the GVQ is 1,000 GVQ or PV, personal volume, from your personally sponsored organization legs. Each one of these people here, so this little bracket, this person that you personally sponsored, and the people that they sponsored, and so forth, this is considered a leg. All the volume from this leg will be compressed up into one group volume amount, including this person here. Same thing here, this would be a second leg. So all the volume from these people plus this person would equal the 500 PV, and so forth and so forth and so forth. So here we have one with 26,000. So if we were to extend this out, what that would look like is it would go with these group of people and then clear down. There'd be, people coming down and probably clear off the page of people that were part of this group organization, but when it was all compressed up together into one lump sum, it came to 26,000 PV. Okay, so that's kind of how this is working out. Each one of these is considered a leg. Okay, now the other rule with GVQ is that no more than half of the volume to equal 1,000 can come from any one leg. So what that means is if I'm trying to reach 1,000 and this one has 2,500, I can't pull the full 2,500 because that would all come from one leg. So what that means is there's a cap level. There's a certain amount of PV that I can pull from each one of these groups depending on my cap level. In this case, is an amethyst, the cap level is a cap of 500 per leg. So basically what it's saying is, okay, even if you have 100 legs, I can only pull up to 500 because I can't pull more than half of the volume to equal 1,000 from any one leg. So if we take a look at what that translates down here, this group has 2,500 in PV, or within their group volume. But out of that 500, or out of that 2,500, they can only pull 500 because there's a cap of 500. This one here that has 500, it can pull the full 500. This one here that has 800, it can only pull 500. Once again, because it has that cap. So it's not necessarily going to like stop once it gets to 1,000. It just makes sure that none of the volume from any one of these legs can produce more than half of the volume to equal 1,000. So as you look across the board, this one with 1,500 can only collect 500. This one with 26,000, it can only collect 500. This one with 250 collects the full 250, and this one with 500 or 600 collects 500. So when you add all these together, so this 500 plus 500 plus 500 plus 500 plus 500 plus 250 plus 500, what that does is that equals your GVQ at that cap level. So now what the system will do is it will look at this and say, okay, at this cap level, does you have at least 1,000 GVQ? Well, if we look at this, you have 3,250 GVQ. So you have enough to be qualified as an amethyst. So it says, okay, great. You are qualified as an amethyst. So let's move you up to a topaz and increase your cap level, because the GVQ percentage to be qualified at a topaz increases from 1,000 to 500 or 5,000. So with that same rule of no more than half, my cap level goes from 500 per leg to I can now pull 2,500 PV per leg. So if we look at this group here that is producing 2,500, you've pulled the full 2,500. This one here at the 500, you pulled the full 500. This one with 800, you pulled the full 800. This one with 1,500, you pulled the full 1,500. This one with 26,000, you've only been able to pull 2,500 because of that cap level once again. And the 250, you pulled the full amount, and the 600, you pulled the full amount. So now it's going to add all those together to equal what your GVQ is. And in this case, the GVQ from these amounts being added together equals 8,650. So now the system is going to say, okay, do they have at least 5,000 GVQ to be considered a topaz? Well, they have 8,650, so yes, you are definitely qualified as a topaz. Well, let's go up to the next cap level. This would be a higher cap level because to be qualified as a ruby, you no longer have to have 5,000 GVQ, you need 10,000. So if we look back at that rule once again, no more than half can come from any one leg to produce the 10,000. So the cap level is 5,000 per leg. So if we look across, it's going to be similar to the topaz. You're going to collect all the volume from all the ones that have less than 2,500. You're going to collect the full amount. Or yeah, 2,500, and the ones that do not, this one with 26,000, you can only pull the max amount of that capital, which is 5,000. So now it's going to add those all together. Your grand total is 11,150. Do you have at least 10,000? You have over 10,000, so yes, you are qualified as a ruby. So now let's go up to the next level. That next level would be a sapphire. The GVQ requirement for a sapphire is 25,000. The cap level is 12,500. So as you can see, you're able to pull the max amount of that cap level in the 26,000 group, but the max level is 12,500. So when it adds all those together, the 2,500 and the 500 and the 800 and the 15 and the 12,500 and the 250 and the 600, it comes out to 18,650 GVQ. Is there at least 25,000 GVQ? No, it's fallen quite a bit shy of 25,000, so therefore you're not qualified as a sapphire, so your gem rank will be a ruby. That's pretty much how it works. And if we look down, the system will calculate for each one of these, emerald and diamond. As you can see, as an emerald, the cap level is 25,000, so you're able to pull 25,000 from that 26,000 group. And then as a diamond, the cap level is 50,000, so you're able to pull the full 26,000. So the most important thing to understand from this is that each one of the gem ranks has a certain cap level. The cap level is just half of what the qualifying GVQ is, and that's the amount that can be pulled from any one leg to qualify you. Once you know that, it makes your job a little simpler. So let me show you what this looks like in your back office. If we pull open the back office, and this once again it shows B Young, rep number 1. This is test data that we have in here to help you guys see this. If we look at this, you can see that it looks similar to this chart over here. This widget on the front page, this current month volume, is developed and designed specifically to help you not have to do the math in knowing what gem rank you're at. So we got the same thing going on here. GVQ of 1000 equals amethyst. The computer is going to automatically calculate for you the cap level and say, do they have at least 1000 GVQ to equal an amethyst? Well, yeah, they have 2669, so you are definitely an amethyst. And then it's going to go down to the next cap level, which is topaz. Is there enough volume, GVQ, in your organization to at least have 5,000? Well, on the right-hand side, as it's calculated, there is definitely enough volume for you to be a topaz. So it's going to go down to the next cap level, which is 5,000 at a ruby. It's going to say no more than 5,000 can come from any one leg. Well, is there at least 10,000 within my GVQ? Well, in this case, there's 16,000. So yeah, definitely a ruby. And so forth and so forth. We can see where this one ends is they're qualified at a sapphire. But they are not qualified as an emerald because they do not have at least 50,000 in their GVQ. So right here is where the differentiation starts. This one is qualified clear up. They have at least 25,000 in their GVQ. And this one is not qualified as an emerald because it doesn't have 50,000. So that's how the Infinity Bonus works and functions. Now, one thing that you need to be aware of is there's two things that do not go into consideration when qualifying you for a gem rank, or the GVQ, the amount of volume that you can use to increase the qualifying volume. The volume that this comes from is from the personally sponsored reps that you've personally sponsored and anyone that they have personally sponsored, and so forth and so forth and so forth. What it does not pull into consideration in qualifying you for a gem rank is your own personal volume, or the volume of customers that you have personally sponsored, or any volume from any customer that is part of your personally sponsored downlines organization. That volume will come in later in the Infinity Bonus after your gem rank is determined and the percentage of what you can be paid out on is determined. Then that volume will come back into play, and what will end up happening is the percentage of the volume, or the percent of the gem rank that you can collect. So for instance, if you're a amethyst, that's 5% that you can collect off of sharing partners. It'll take that 5% and calculate that towards your own personal purchases and the purchases of your personal sponsored customers. So what that means is if you purchase 340 PV in the month, after you reach a gem rank, the system would take 340 and times that by 5%, and you would get $17 back on your own personal purchases. You would do that exact same thing for customers within your organization that you have personally sponsored. So if you had 4 customers that had bought 1,000 PV worth of volume, it would take that and times it by 5% because you're an amethyst, and you'd collect $50 off of their purchases. That amount will only go up as you increase in gem ranks. For instance, when you become a diamond, you collect 19%. So what that means is you could collect 19% of 1,000, which would be $190 off of your customers' purchases. So it's an opportunity for you to get rewarded for the customers you brought in, and also an opportunity for you to get back some money that you invested in your own personal products. So the question is okay, if I'm shy a little bit on my volume, what would be the best thing for me to do in order to try to get a higher gem rank? Well, if we go back to this chart here, let's take a look. If we come to this group here that has 26,000 in their organization, it's not going to do you a whole lot of good as far as trying to get a higher gem rank to go to them and really try to work with them and try to build that organization, because the bottom line is you're already not able to collect even half of that volume. If we look here, the most that you're able to collect was 5,000, so there's potentially 21,000 that you aren't able to collect on. So if you keep building that organization, you're still only going to be able to collect 5,000 unless you get more volume somewhere else to get to 25,000 to become a sapphire. So the thing that I would do if it were me, and the thing that I would encourage you guys to do, is I would encourage you to look at your other organizations that you're pulling the full amount from them, and that you still have a lot that you could pull from. For instance, this one with 2,500, you could pull another 2,500, and I think it's 2,500. Let me take a look here. I'm horrible with math, guys. I'm sorry. Yeah, so you could pull another 2,500, and be able to and still be within that cap level. So what I would do is I would go to some of these other groups here. I'd go to this group with 2,500 and I'd say, hey guys, you're right smack dab in the middle between an amethyst and a topaz. You know what the difference between that is? The difference of that is 3%, which may not seem a whole lot, but there's a potential for you to collect 8% off of sharing partners. And you can also collect, 3% off of anyone who's become an amethyst. So that gives you a total of 8%. Now, let's say in your organization, in order to be a topaz, you have to get, 5,000 GVQ. So let's say if all your reps are not an amethyst, they're still a sharing partner, 8% of 5,000 is $400. How would you like to get $400? That'd be nice. That'd cover your products, and all that's going to really come from is just from you kind of talking to the people in your organization, maybe sponsoring one or two more people and helping them get going in their organization. Let me see what I can do to help you build your organization. And as you help them build the organization, as they start making more money, they'll be more excited and more willing to work harder in that organization. So ultimately, what you're going to do is you're going to help this person increase their amount they can get paid to be able to get them excited, but you're also increasing the amount down here that you can pull from. So instead of 2,500, you have 5,000. So that's going to put you, 2,500 closer to your goal of getting to a sapphire. So in this case, you'd be at, 21,000. You only need to pull another 4,000 from somewhere else. And you can do that in each one of these. You look at this 500 and say, hey, you're like right smack dab in the middle becoming a gem rank. And what that means is instead of only being able to get 5% or 10% in the matrix, you can collect an additional 5%. That's going to give you additional money back. And you only really need to pick up 500 more volume in your organization. And that's really probably two people. Two people purchasing will get you where you can get 5% more back. The one that has 800 PV, that's an easy conversation. You are 200 PV away. What that is that could be one person in your organization buying a few more things, or you going out and sponsoring one more person. It's really all it is for you to become an amethyst. But what you're doing is you're helping them to get to a gem rank and helping you get more volume to pull from in your cap levels. That's really the best way to look at increasing your gem rank or pulling a rank, is look at, if you have a runaway leg, look at your smaller legs and put focus back on them and increasing their volume so that you can pull more volume from them that will go towards the runaway leg to help you increase your gem ranking. That is, in a nutshell, the infinity bonus and how you can pull a rank and how you can calculate for the infinity bonus. There's some more features to the infinity bonus. Most of those are just additions to what we've already shared. But this is the basic information on understanding the infinity bonus, on pulling a rank for the infinity bonus, on becoming a gem rank, and what GVQ is and how it's calculated. If you have any questions on where you are within the month, really what I would highly encourage you to do is look at this widget. This widget was specifically developed for you to know where you're at. And the benefit of this is if you know you're at a sapphire position, you know that only half of the volume you can pull from that GVQ is your cap level. So 12,500 is a cap level. So what you could do at that point is go into your organization, look at your organization by sponsorship and by leg, look at which legs are producing what, and then that helps you to be able to go back and see which legs you should work with to increase that volume to help you pull rank. The infinity bonus is definitely the highest paying bonus in Be Young. It pays out to infinity. It's the one that you want to take the most advantage of if you're really serious about working this as a business. And the only way to build your infinity bonus is to go out and personally sponsor people. So it takes a little bit of effort, but it definitely is a reward. And the best place to start if you're looking at getting started is to follow the Road to Diamond. The Road to Diamond is set up to give you an easy way to build your organization with only having to really sponsor and work with 5 people. You teach those 5 people the Road to Diamond and get them on their way, and within 5 months you can be collecting up to $10,000. That's the Road to Diamond. We'll have more trainings on the Road to Diamond. I encourage you to look at those, get on the Road to Diamond, take the opportunity to collect what you need to really reward yourself and to restore your life. Once again, my name is Ori Young. Thank you for joining me on this training. We'll look forward to further trainings and helping you learn how to pull a gem rank and to maximize your payout potential.